on FlyQuest has risen in stardom here, and his Bard versus Keria's Bard is one of the big Champ Select topics that we've had, because Busio is our mini North American Keria.
Yeah, he's our Bard boy.
He's our Bard boy. So since they're blue side, everyone's like, all right, in a best of one, would you really want to first pick Bard? Probably not. Maybe in like a Fearless full best of series, where then it's like, oh, it would be like fearlessly banned for the rest of the time versus Keria, and then you wouldn't have to worry about it. Maybe then, but I don't think well, maybe, okay. It looks like it is at least going to get through from the FlyQuest side. They are not banning Bard, as almost all teams have done versus T1, so maybe they are considering a first pick Bard and take it for Busio.
It's not banned at all. It's Ambessa, Vi, and the Caitlyn that we've seen a lot of priority on so far throughout the day. Banned out by FlyQuest. Other side going to be Azir, Orianna, and Yunara, banned out by T1. Now, of course, we have the typical Whippo Kai'Sa hover. This is not going to be the first pick. But let's see what they really do end up going with. I love this Bard question, but no, the Jarvan priority shines through.
Yeah, maybe if it's like Fearless and you get extra value of it being permaban later on, then maybe, but not quite in a best of one. We'll stick to the Jarvan here, Premier Jungle. You mentioned the Caitlyn though, and we really are, it seems like, very quickly entering this Caitlyn meta.
Yeah.
If we're in Caitlyn meta, you do not definitely give Caitlyn to Gumayusi. It's still going to be dangerous because Guma also showed, the buffs to Ashe were very real. The attack damage on level, and his Ashe was very good as well. So Guma's got plenty of champions in the current meta that look really good for him. And we're just going to go right down the normal jungle tier list here. And there it is. We have the copy pasta ready. Because Keria gave...
What do you got for
Keria gave one of those, quintessential interviews before this matchup. Sheep Esports interviewed him. We'll wait till they lock the Bard in.
But we know they're locked in for Keria.
Yeah, we know they're going to. And Keria starts it off so nice. He's like, FlyQuest, they're a very strong team. Their teamwork is really good. They're one of the strong teams. Teams need to watch out for Inspired the most. And then he goes on to say, but if we face them, my Bard is the best in the world. If they let Bard through, Inspired won't be able to step on the Rift. So they let Bard through. Keria has the Bard now. And now Inspired's got to be able to still step on the Rift with Jarvan. They first picked the Jarvan, so...
Okay. And we're also going to see the Kai'Sa locked in next to the Jarvan. We know Jarvan for those big explosive engages from a long way away. Who better to follow it up with than the AD carry that's built to dive alongside, and they'll also lock in the Nico right next to him.
And since there is a lot of Caitlyn talk going on right now with all the Caitlyn in the last couple of games, the other really successful one, and one that people already had their eyes on coming into the tournament, were lots of Kai'Sa comps. Kai'Sa is going to be strong. Dive comps are really going to be applicable for a lot of teams, and so FlyQuest are just kind of leveraging that. They banned the Caitlyn themselves, and they're saying we're going to go right into a Kai'Sa comp, and we're going to go right into Gumayusi's Xayah and Keria's Bard.
And I really like the look of the Xayah drafted against the dive that you're already seeing out of the side of FlyQuest, right? Jarvan the big diver. Kai'Sa wants to fly in next to him. We know how Nico likes to use those sneaky pop blossoms to get in the back line and really just cause havoc. So this is a good pick for some defensive capability, while, the Bard and the Wukong and whatever else they want to draft mounts the counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, Gumayusi Xayah is famous. Kai'Sa Xayah is one of the most seen matchups in the history of professional AD carries in League of Legends. So let's move on though to the top lane. Rumble the first ban here versus Whippo.
Whippo's got a wide champion pool though. This man, for those of y'all that have not been watching much in A this year, Whippo likes to pick a whole lot of different stuff. He's not afraid to play the picks that other people might not lock in.
And his other big blind one is the Renekton, another big blind one for him. Of course, he can blind Sion and stuff too. That's been really popular here. So those are the kind of ones we're sifting through here, assuming that they will go Faker's champion first, but they could give Faker counter pick as well if they want to. So
there's the Renekton.
Yeah, there you go. So the other kind of blind pick that you're expecting and talking about. So maybe Whippo is just it's like a Sion Whippo game or something like that.
Yeah.
Since the Rumble and Renekton bans do come out.
Well, we've also got the Aurora banned out here by FlyQuest. They know they still need to look at both solo lanes on the side of T1. Ban out a champion that, could go either one of those lanes. Get some extra value out of that. And the last ban will be Faker's Annie.
Okay, yeah. Faker had a pretty good Akali game yesterday as well. His mechanics were looking on point. He had some good burst combinations, so we'll see what they end up going with on the side of T1, but probably something that does look for the engages, does look for the flanks. That's kind of why FlyQuest banned out the Aurora and the Annie, two of those kind of premier playmaking ones. And it is going to be forced upon, Quad to also blind pick here into Faker. They're going to give Faker the full counter pick on red side for T1. And this is kind of assuming that Bwipo is going to go the sign or something like that, so they pre-pick the Cassante, which can just play into whatever. Even if Bwipo goes an Urgot or something, maybe he goes for the Urgot execution, or maybe he goes for a Mordekaiser. Up there,
he will.
He does.
Okay, the answer to the blind Cassante is the Mordekaiser for Bwipo.
Okay, Bwipo Mordekaiser. Let's see how it turns out this time. And what is Quad going to blind? Quad is basically always control mage. So him blind picking is not like the biggest issue for FlyQuest, because they pretty much always have him on the safer. He's farming control mage for mid. Ryze is still up. Ryze is a great choice here for blind. I mean, that's even been first picked by quite a few. So definitely like this one into Faker.
Okay, we've got some powerful tanky AP solo laners here on the side of FlyQuest to go alongside that engage from the Jarvan. That is your big main engage unless Nico can get a nice flank, but again, usually she requires an angle, she requires a little bit more setup, so pressure on Inspired, but I feel like if you're FlyQuest and somebody's got to have some pressure on her to make some plays, Inspired's a guy you're going to trust to do that.
Certainly so. He has done so much for this FlyQuest team over the last couple of years that they have stuck together. And we just get, okay, so Faker did have some big seismic shoves the other day as well with the Taliyah. So maybe he continues with that off of the ramp up. The beginnings of that game were not great for him though, did get into a bit of a deficit. And so we'll see this time around. I mean, we are obviously like super hyped up right now off the previous game, the 100 Thieves ones. But FlyQuest here going into T1, this one is going to be hyped. Don't let the seeds fool you here as well.
That's, I was going to say, it's a little bit
Don't look at those too closely.
You come in, you think, all right, we're up against a number 4 seed. Sure, it's no problem. They're only the winningest organization in the history of the game. They're not only the only team with back-to-back Worlds wins, but with 2 different back-to-back Worlds wins. They're not only the team that has the best player to ever play the game in mid, they're also the LCK number 4 seed.
Yeah,
it's
so easy 1-0 for FlyQuest then, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's definitely going to be a challenge here for the FlyQuest side, but for all of us who have been watching North American competition throughout the year, this has been such an exciting team to watch, such an exciting team to follow, and kind of what Raz was talking about back on the desk. They're a team that wants international success. They've come so close, twice now, nearly beating Gen G in a best of 5, going all the way to Game 5 at last year's Worlds. Then at this year's MSI, going 5 games against BLG, but again, falling short. Clearly, we're not into the best of 5 stage here at Worlds 2025 since we're just on day 1, but FlyQuest are hungry to prove themselves internationally, and if you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And I'll tell you what, Kobe, historically, T1 are the best.
And the crowd erupts as usual for T1. Let's see, Keria got barred. I don't think we'll say that a lot this tournament, Flowers.
Probably not.
So let's get it out of the way now. Keria got barred. It is into Busio. It is into FlyQuest. Let's see what FlyQuest's plan is here, because definitely playing with fire.
So we do have the Summoner Spellbook on the side of Keria and T1, but not on the side of Busio and FlyQuest. So Busio just going for the extra planing power, the extra little bit of damage there with the Comet compared to the utility that Keria will have throughout the game with the use of the extra summoners. Doesn't look like either side wants to do anything particularly creative here at the level 1, so minions are going to collide and we'll just get straight into laning phase.
All right, Quad moving up into the wave here real quick. They did have the vision. Both junglers here starting top sides will be pathing down towards that Bard lane. And Busio and Masu, let's see what they can get done early here with the early push. Should be able to push them off here. They've got rush control. They have their ward down after the first one was cleared out by Keria's sweeper. And so they're able to gain control of the wave, though.
Here in top side, these two will probably just be, I honestly expect these guys to try and get a little bit aggressive with one another here early on in the game, and as I say it, Doran immediately jumps in, but does miss that Intofo strike just slightly to the side there, expecting Bwipo to make a slight movement.
Yeah, and the minion died right as Doran went in, so Bwipo got the level up as Doran goes in, and so he's able to handle it just fine.
Okay, so talking about our junglers, because Wukong, we know, he doesn't have the greatest early ganks. He generally likes to power farm till 6 because he has no CC until then. Hold on, never mind. Maybe we can't talk about junglers. Bwipo marching forward. All right, cool, we're fine. What I was going to ask, Wukong we generally think more of for power farming. Jarvan is one of the early game gankers in League of Legends. What are you expecting to see out of this pathing?
Yeah, well, you definitely still want to remain efficient, even with the possibilities of going for early ganks. And so Inspired, as you can see, is doing the full clear as well. Both of them kind of saving their buffs here, and so pick those up. And then, I mean, you can go for the mid lane pressure onto Faker and try and burn the flash early. Ryze does have good setup. Jarvan plus Ryze definitely can put pressure on the Taliyah, but the bottom lane, we do know this is going to be a big focus for both. So as you're pushing bottom lane here for FlyQuest, I want to see if Inspired actually goes for the pushing bottom lane, bot side Scuttlecrab, because right now he's actually traversing to the other side, and an Oner's just going to be able to grab that one. It's because their bottom lane wants to go for their reset right now, so bottom lane playing for the reset, and easy swap on the Scuttlecrabs here does mean Quad should be hovering to the top side here where his jungler is. Good job by him.
There we go.
Doesn't want to give Oner the possibility of getting any sort of early damage. Of course, it probably wouldn't, threaten lethal or anything, but doesn't want to let him use any of that free time to get any damage, and so nicely done here. Good even trade so far, Flowers. Both of them just trade scuttles and trade the wards onto Raptors. Very standard here. Is going to see the second clears and give everybody some calm information.
Exactly. Calm being the key word. Nothing crazy, nothing unexpected here in the first clear for either one of our junglers, as Masu and Busio just continuing to have a pretty even lane state here against Gumayusi and Keria. Their wave is going to get the push after they take control over these last couple of minions, as Doran continually pushes Bwipo in up here in the top side, but he's not really choking Bwipo out of a lot of minions either. Honestly, all the lanes going pretty even.
Yeah, congratulations to the GOAT, Faker, 300th international game, as you saw there, and doing just fine in the opener.
Okay, a little bit of a catch there. Nice tangle barbs from Busio to put some damage onto Gumayusi as they crash the wave into the turret. Now Busio will be able to potentially look to clear out some wards or establish some vision, but no, instead just going to be another recall here. The double recall from Masu and Busio, just to make sure that they can get that purchase in while they've got the crash.
And now everybody, rightly so, hypes up Bard roams, but Nico roams are huge as well. And so off of this early reset, it is going to be lane swaps for both sides. So they're honestly, with the tunnel making up the extra couple of seconds, they're almost identically timed here. Even with the slightly earlier recall for the FlyQuest bottom side, so Magical Journey is good for them. They get out here a couple of seconds. Bwipo even pulls the extra couple minions for Masu here, though, before he goes for his resets. Just leave those right there. So that is going to generate a slow push for FlyQuest. And let's see how they use this, because this is also going to mean the junglers are going to reset up to this side of the map too. Inspired here. Inspired actually heading out through mid lane. Instead of heading back towards the top side immediately. So keeping his options open, while Oner opts for the control ward on Dragon first before going for his delayed recall, and looks like they are just going to continue to keep the pressure. Yeah,
early Earth Dragon being #1 here generally dissuades super early Dragon takes just because of the tankiness of that objective compared to other Dragons. Inspired will go ahead though and drop the flag inside of the pit, clear out that control ward, but then immediately back away. They know that there might be a couple of problems around here, so they're taking their time, but no. Okay, just dragging it out slightly. Quad waiting around this area to see if Faker's going to walk anywhere close to that brush. Doran's making his way over, though, and Bwipo's ready to follow.
So is Oner.
Okay, FlyQuest, they're going to have 3 men here first, but T1's bringing in the cavalry. It's going to be Doran here, your initial target. Quad, however, targeted by T1. Doran losing about half HP. Whippo still looking for more. He's got Doran in the death realm, but Keria's Bard has made his way in here with the Summoner Spellbook teleport. Keria showing up, looking to make the difference. Doran down to 200 HP with Whippo's flashback over the wall. Quad trying to escape, and he has to flash now too. It's the Keria Bard difference, looking to change the fight as Quad wants to get out here through the Realm Lord, but he does manage to escape. Doran still looking for a little bit more. He wants to go all out, and Inspired has to flash to survive. Somehow nobody's dead either way, but the extra man for T1 gives him control and wins them this dragon.
Yeah, FlyQuest are able to peel and delay long enough. Initially, the Mordekaiser ult onto the Cassante allows them to peel. Quad's able to survive. Then some antics here with their flashes on the Dragon Pit. They actually do all survive in the end, despite the Summoner Spellbook teleport being a big difference maker there for T1, getting the extra numbers. FlyQuest still all get out alive, as you say, and since it resets the dragon, and it's a mountain dragon which is so tanky, it would kind of ruin your tempo, your timing on the map to stick around for it, and so they all go for resets in the aftermath.
And the reason that tempo and timing is so important, my friend, is because everybody's favorite early game objective, the Grubs, just about to spawn here in 5 seconds. You can see a T1 ward in the Grub Pit already, but Inspired and Masu already hanging around. You've also got Busio up here, disguised as Masu number 2. Well, Masu number 3, now there's also a clone. Oner has arrived, though,
Which
on
one's
the
your favorite?
I like all of them.
I like the original.
Oh, yeah, you're going with the original article. I respect that. Inspired, starting up these Grubs, though, does want to be able to secure at least the first one. Oh, but it starts to reset and lose patience. So FlyQuest, they don't manage to get anything other than just a low health Grub. And it's T1 with control over the pit now as Oner starts the objective.
He needed like one more auto on that thing. It barely did not get tick under 600. And he has the original smite there. So Inspired's not able to steal away that one Grub that was getting quite low, and T1 will just collect them.
Yeah, that's a super, super close margin that it actually ends up being potentially pretty significant here for the side of T1, as having all 3 of the Grubs, having the extra damage onto the turrets and the ability to spawn the Void Mites could mean that if they get some early tempo in this game, they get some early push in the side lanes, they could really cause some problems, because you're also already working with a team comp that has a Taliyah, that has a Bard, that has these champions that can really provide threat from a long way away, and T1 could be in a good spot to set up some good turret plate money farming now, but Faker's going to get caught out here with the Tangle Barbs. Busio locks him up a little bit, but Tempered Fate guarantees that Faker is not going to die here today.
This is support gameplay, Flowers. Busio makes a play mid lane. Keria throws the Bard ultimate, and actually it does land on the Faker. Not going to be any sort of follow-up plays here, as now these supports fighting over wards, and this is something that we have just hyped up all year long in LTA North, soon to be LCS. Busio making so many plays, and him going versus Keria really is a dream. He looks up to Keria so heavily, as so many supports do, and it honestly is just like an honorable move, I feel like. All right, fine. You can have Bard. I'm going to take Nico. May the best support make the better plays. You know, it's actually really cool to see what we can get in this game. And Whippo's Brush Camp does get Guma's ult out.
Yeah, Guma puts a lot of damage back into Whippo, though, on the exit route, so Whippo not feeling confident about trying to find anything more here onto Gumayusi, is hanging around in hopes of catching the wave. Quad versus Doran up in the top side in the meantime, as Busio ready to follow up here. Gumayusi now in some danger. The death realm has been unleashed, and Whippo's going in after the T1 AD carry. Gumayusi's about to get taken out, but he gets away on a magical journey. Whippo's chase is overdone, and it's first blood to Keria's Bar.
Oh, Whippo just used his Q on the other side of the tunnel, but then he still goes in the tunnel, and it's right where Keria wanted him. That was not a magical journey that Whippo wanted, and he goes down. He got hyped up. He was so close there, but close does not count. Gumayusi still had flash. Gumayusi was just drawing him in. So they get the kill. That is 1 kill for T1. Looks like the dragon will be picked up afterwards, though, for FlyQuest. So Whippo had done a lot of work. He set himself up with the brush camp. You know, he got Gumayusi's Zai ult down, but here the barrier goes out, and then he takes the magical journey. Like, he got out of the Mordekaiser ultimate and takes it and avoids that Q, and then after that Q is used, like, you don't really have any more as Mordekaiser, right? That's your damage right there. So anyways, goes through, goes down, and it is 1 kill for Mountain Dragon, though. So Flowers, they do get something afterwards there for FlyQuest.
But still, man, T1, you got to be sure when you go in on those plays. Gumayusi waiting until the last possible second to use the barrier, and it's just enough to save him from that last auto attack that Bwipo was able to land. Then getting away with the help of Keria, you love to see it. And these hero plays from supports are just so fun to watch.
And that's what you expect from, you know, the players on T1 on the international stage. Guma's like, yeah, I still have my flash. I'm chilling here. You know, you can get close. I'm not going to go down, though. I can calculate your damage. You know, I'm going to just be able to avoid this. And he does not panic under pressure at all. And that results in the first kill of the game. This is not going to completely change the game, though, Flowers. So still very tense, very exciting one here that we have ahead of us.
You know what does often change games of League of Legends, however, is Rift Herald fights. I feel like there are so many games that go from razor's edge to completely one-sided after a Rift Herald fight that one team takes when they shouldn't have taken it. And that Rift Herald is going to be spawning here in about 2 minutes. So what I want to do is check in on the status of where both teams are at, because a lot of first items are completed now. Doran has his Kaenic Rookern to lane against Bwipo's Mordekaiser and make him much more effective. Now Keria is using the Tempered Fate on Inspired here immediately, stuns him into the wall with a Cosmic Binding. Nobody else on T1 is close enough in time, though, so they're just going to get a little chunk of damage onto Inspired at the cost of Keria's Bard ult.
I want to point out that FlyQuest are split pushing during this time, so they're actually getting some leverage on the bottom side. This is split push Rise, so Quad already up at the turret, working on a turret plate for himself, pushing the minion wave in, and T1, they committed to that play on the top side with everyone. Oner's trying to make the most of it with a blue steal.
Yeah, he wants to get it, but Inspired has the better smite. Now Busio using the Pop Blossom, tries to find enough, but instead he only finds his way into the grave. Another kill of it at T1 as Inspired has to try to escape with the Weaver's Wall from Faker. Wants to lock him up. Inspired wants to sidestep the seismic shove, but no way! 3-0 T1 as they claim the feat of warfare.
T1 do make the most of it. They go for the blue steal, and even though they don't get the blue buff originally, they just kill you and take it off your body, even though Inspired was able to smite it away. Oner ends up with it.
Gumayusi ready to play aggressive here against Masu on that Kai'Sa. You talked about how many times at Worlds in the past we've seen the Kai'Sa versus Xayah matchup. If you lock these in, you got to be ready to play aggro when you know you're stronger, and that's what I love to see. What I was saying before we got the fight, I guess I'll say it after the replay, because here we go again with Oner going in.
Exactly. So they go in on Busio. Busio uses the ultimate, but Oner just cyclones on him. They take him down immediately there. And then on the chase through here, Keria not able to hit the flash there with the Cosmic Binding, but Faker's got his back. Don't worry. Got the Seismic Shove here on Inspired. They get the extra kill as well.
Okay, so 15 seconds until the Herald spawns. Both junglers got those first items completed. Masu versus Gumayusi here in the mid lane. Guma down to about 30% HP. Void Seeker knocks him down to 300. Masu, however, also losing his HP down to 400. Flashing away from the Tempered Fate, recognizing that would have surely been a death sentence if he gets caught in it and they can set up after.
Yeah, really good stuff here from T1. You know, Guma setting up the possibility of Keria using the ult to burn the flash there. They trade heavily. Guma, once again, not scared. And in the end, Keria comes in. Bard ultimate for Kai'Sa flash is exactly the value that you want. So they can make some repeat plays there now on Masu. Masu's got to be careful.
So I want to go back to what you talked about in the draft, because you had the copy pasta from Keria talking about how FlyQuest is a good team, but if I get Bard, Inspired's not going to be able to step foot onto the Rift. Well, we are 15 minutes into the game. The Herald is spawned. Yeah, Inspired's doing that right now, but he's 0-1 and 0. No plays made, while Oner goes for another one down here in the bottom lane, looking to maybe take out Quad, who goes for the Realm Warp to escape. Busio coming up to try to help him, but Keria is also here. Redemption comes down, and Quad is dead. Faker taking a kill on that one as FlyQuest want to try to find something else back. It's Masu moving forward, trying to cut off the escape from Keria and Oner, but they go on a magical journey and they're already getting away. FlyQuest are too slow on the move, and Inspired is caught by Doran as he tries to take the Rift Herald, and that's almost a kill, but Inspired gets away there as the third and Tofo strike won't connect. Now Faker looking for maybe another kill here on Busio. Bwipo wants to help him. Tangle Barbs won't hit, but the flash into the Death Realm. Bwipo wants Faker, but he is denied. Faker making distance, but ultimately immediately shut down. Now Oner's gonna try to get away. The Mordekaiser post-death realm is very powerful, but he already used his flash. He cannot catch up. Busio wants to go in for the pop blossom, and he finds it, but he's about to die. Keria and Gumayusi on the approach. Whippo rooted up under turret. T1 pick up both. It's a 6-1 game.
T1 in the scrap come out ahead again. And it all started with a really beautiful dive that they did on Quad. They kind of trapped Quad, and then Keria played it really well on Bard. He knows he's trying to Realm Warp out, so Keria camps the Realm Warp, and he uses his Spellbook Exhaust first. He does not immediately Cosmic Binding. He uses the Exhaust, waits out the slow, delays so that the rest of T1 can come help with the dive. Meanwhile, though, Doran here.
And Doran working hard to defend this tier 1 turret, Inspired and Quad wanting to force it down, but they've only got it down to about 10% HP. They can't quite finish the kill. Doran holds the line, again getting back up from his team. T1 is so good at making sure that whoever's going to be under pressure has backup when they need it.
And currently, T1 are just outplaying in a lot of these skirmishes. They're just outplaying in some of the scraps that they've had. You know, the jungle, invade on blue on the top side after they re-engaged it, speaking of.
Okay, Quad being smacked around by Doran here a little bit, does not want to deal with that melee range Cassante. This is one of the problems with picking the Mordekaiser and the Rise as the 2 solo lanes when you've already seen Cassante. The Koenig Rookern first item has so much value, and it just allows Doran to play so aggressively because the enemy mages can't trade back effectively.
Exactly, I mean, that is a lot of magic resist stacking here for Doran, so it works well into both of the solo laners, both of the split pushers, as you are saying. Meanwhile, Keria's going to go up there and lend Doran some extra support.
I don't even know if Doran needs it, Kobe. Quad's already down, and that's a kill for the Cassante. 7-1 for T1. These guys are showing FlyQuest a harsh lesson here in their first game at Worlds. T1's warmed up, like you said. They already got their practice in. They are ready to go.
They certainly are. A lot of these skirmishes, a lot of these side lane plays, even with Keria throwing out some of these Cosmic Binding splashes, doesn't matter. They still find the kill in the end.
Oh, Keria's just messing with him at this point. Busio jumping forward, looks for the pop blossom. Meanwhile, down here in the bottom lane, bit of a problem for Whippo. At least they got the shutdown onto Keria up in the top side at the same time. Whippo wants to try to get one kill before he comes out of the death realm, but it's not gonna happen. The grasp can't quite find the kill, and that means that Oner survives, and it's more money in the T1 pockets, a 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to push the wave right after that as well. Although FlyQuest did, in the end, punish Keria having no flash on the Bard, Busio, Super Blast Cone, is able to set it up for Masu and Killer Instinct. That may be a small ray of hope there, Flowers, for FlyQuest. Getting the 1 kill onto Masu, getting some money here into the Kaisa. I mean, this is a dive, composition with the Jarvan, with the Nico, and the Kaisa. So maybe they can do some like side lane plays. After all, maybe they can make some picks to follow up. It is 2-item power spike for Masu.
Having the Kraken Slayer, the Ginsu's very powerful together. Speaking of 2-item power spikes, yes, both of the items are fully built, but they're not both fully complete for Quad. Still needs 3 more stacks on the Rod of Ages, but does have the fully evolved Seraphs, so the Rise is getting pretty powerful himself. Faker's Talia, however, still ahead in gold, 2-1-3 on that pick. Still deathless for Oner on the Wukong here too, doing very well into this Jarvan that, remember, was first picked for the side of FlyQuest and Inspired, the playmaker, right? The player of the year in the LTA. 0-1-0 on the Jarvan, has not been able to find those angles, not been able to find those plays in these first 20 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, I think a lot of them have been just team pressure from T1. And outperforming in the skirmishes, and now it's resulted in all 3 of these outer towers down, Flower, so there's not a lot of room to work with for FlyQuest. The map is quickly going under T1 control.
All right, T1 trying to force their way further into the enemy jungle, but the Realm Warp into the immediate Pop Blossom. It finds Oner, but nobody else. Now Gumayusi under a little bit of pressure here on the side. Inspired goes in with the Cataclysm, but Busio's first to die. Oner still trying to get away. Flashes into the rush to buy a little bit more time, but a Cathian Rain gets him. T1 still got more men. Quad in the middle of everybody, and he's cut down by the blades of Gumayusi. Whippo's in the death realm for a little bit longer. He'll take out Keria, but what about afterwards? There's no way to survive. A triple kill for Guma, and T1 team fighting takes them down.
Masu's still here, but the rest
Not
of
so long.
The rest of T1 are going for the Otacon, Masu going for the execute.
Yeah,
Or getting for the escape.
Yeah, maybe he can get away,
He's
actually.
good.
All right. Well, as long as he doesn't greedy recall and get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, he's chilling. Meanwhile, the Otacon, as you can see, being taken by a Faker and Guma. It is a little dicey, but you can avoid those spells pretty easily. Just stick in towards the center.
Oh, you can hear the reaction from the crowd. It was close to Doran nearly finding Masu on the escape there. But that is Otacon secured for T1 after this team fight that kind of went a little bit crazy.
Okay, so FlyQuest aside, you know what? This is our moment to try and make a counterplay. They have overcommitted into our jungle. Let's Realm Warp. We try and do Realm Warp, Nico ultimate. It does catch Oner, but that's it. And they get the Keria kind of delay ultimate here. Meanwhile, as soon as they come out of it, even though FlyQuest could chase down that kill, Inspired tried to kill Guma. So on the left side, it was Jarvan going after Guma, but there was no follow-up there, so Guma's able to kill him. And then the other side of the fight was so delayed, so chased, that T1 pick up the extra kills. They increase their gold lead. Here we go, another play for FlyQuest.
Yeah, Inspired stepping very far forward here and about to die. The Cosmic Binding as he gets back over the wall. Buys enough time for Faker to take him down. Yes, there's a Pop Blossom, but T1 has already won the fight. Bucio goes over the wall, and Quad goes back to the spawn platform. Masu's next. T1 are just playing better. Back in the mid lane, Bwipo at least tries to find something here in a Gumayusi. He's got him in the death realm. The feathers fly, but the Xayah dies. A shutdown to Bwipo, but Doran's not gonna let it go unavenged as Bwipo is the last to fall and T1 get an ace for 2.
They chase them all down, Flowers. Now T1 alone on the Rift with their minions will be able to celebrate. Oner's just going to take away the rest of your jungle camps afterwards. And it continues to be scrappy, but it continues to go the way of T1. This one, Bucio and Inspired trying to pull a little pincer here. Quad actually goes right up, but look at the immediate response. Inspired just got decimated as he went in onto Faker. And you see the redemption? After the redemption, they were full health after that attempt. So T1, no problem, kind of counter-attack there. And in the end, they trap all of the FlyQuest members. Nobody can even get out after that play. And then Keria teleporting afterwards out of there with his spellbook. And they actually just pick him up on all sides. Though, Bwipo got the shutdown onto Gumayusi.
Well, that's something, but they're going to need a whole lot more. Keria getting caught out here a little bit, but where's the damage from FlyQuest? Tempered Fate doesn't really get anything here. Third and Topo strike. Knockback into a knockback into a knockdown. Inspired's out of there. And T1 continue the push. Masu gets slowed down. Pop Blossom onto 2 to buy a little bit more time. But it's a double kill for Oner. Meanwhile, Doran trying to create a little bit of space. Does end up dying, trying to kill Masu off. Quad on the side. Tries to use Realm Warp for the escape and gets away. Gumayushi's going to die to Bwipo. But now he's in the back line. 1v3! He gets a double with a mace to the face for Keria. The fight is bloody as we have 3 dead on either side.
I like that FlyQuest are refusing to stop fighting. They will continue to just fight their way out of this. I mean, objective bounties are up, so Bwipo scrapping here. Bwipo getting the double kill, running through and killing Guma again, opens up the opportunity, even though they're going to lose this Dragon Flowers. It is only the second Dragon for T1, so that's a long timer towards the Dragon Soul. And with objective bounties up, it means that Quad is able to capitalize. That is a solo tower for the Rise. It is objective bounty boosted, extra gold there, and he's working towards his death cap. So while this is certainly T1 favored, certainly we're still riding, you know, that hype train there. FlyQuest did get some comeback mechanics going for them there. Bwipo really pulling a lot of pressure and opening up a possible avenue for a FlyQuest comeback.
And that is one thing that we have always said about Bwipo, watching him throughout the year in the LTA, especially in the context of FlyQuest running a 6-man roster this year, is when you compare Bwipo to other players, Bwipo will make something happen. That can be good, that can be bad. It all depends on the day. But he's not a player who's going to sit back and just watch the game unfold.
And I actually do love the Hexplate builds for Mordekaiser. You always have the Shy like destroy a Nexus with that one, but it got really popular when they just buffed up Hexplate and just like turbocharged the juice that you get when you do activate your ultimate. And so like with all that speed, you just really get in there, and it does provide a lot of threat, and he's using that to go towards Guma, and then he even is hitting these claws to get extra value after coming out too. So yeah. I mean, he's going for it on Doran here, but I mean, It's a full, Cassante there with the Canic Rooker that you mentioned, so it's hard to soften up a Cassante, even in that side lane. Of course, he does know, even if people try and go gank him while he's split pushing, Mordekaiser always has the option of just ulting someone else who tries to gank him. And then you go at least 1 for 1, and then sending extra resources towards you usually means that your team can get something on the other side.
So Baron's up now, no dragon for the next 3 minutes. This is probably going to be our next battlefield, but that battlefield is now very interesting because the death cap is completed for Quad's Rise. You've got the arm guard completed for Busio's Nico to be able to make those haphazard engages without the immediate consequence, but at the same time, Oner's got Guardian Angel. The Wukong can fly in there without worrying about dying. There's so many powerful tools that have been recently purchased for both sides. This fight, however it happens, I feel like there's going to be a lot of gray screens.
Yep, and T1 want to force the issue here. They're going to start up the Baron. They've got some big advantages. Faker as well has a lot, 9 stacks on his Dark Seal. Can he get a seismic shove? They're actually burning the Baron down.
The Baron's going to go down. The Pop Blossom lands. They found some damage onto Faker, and Masu's already assassinated him, but the Baron is gone. Gumayusi goes through the wall. The rest of T1 trying to get away with their Baron, but the Realm Warp wants to bring him in. A seismic shove to stop it. Oner's going to be caught out now as he tries to re-engage on Masu. He's alone behind the FlyQuest lines, and more damage from Whippo is going to at least get his Guardian Angel. Now T1, the remaining 3 players scattering back away as Oner tries to use the Blast Cone to escape, and he will do it. T1 takes the Baron and then trades 1 for 1.
That is a Guardian Angel right there, Flowers. That value, he just barely got over the Brambleback wall before the Guardian Angel procs, so he gets back up and he's able to escape out the backside. FlyQuest looking like they were going to be able to collect some kills after T1 take down the Baron, but they only got the 1 at the very beginning here. It is onto Faker, so it does cut down on some of the stacks, but the escape enabled by this magical journey. Guma's able to flash into the magical journey. Oner takes it out as well. And then the Realm Warp threat here, they do go for the Bard ultimate from Keria because of that one. And then Oner, even though he does get Mordekai's ult positioned right against the wall, just barely clones over, and then he escaped, as you know, in the end, which results in T1 with the Baron buff. So a lot of pushing power left for them. And with all that extra gold from Baron now too, feels way more solid for T1.
So Red Bull Baron power play currently at about plus 1,800, so only a little bit more than the default value of claiming the Baron, but I'm sure they have plans for this next minute and a half to gain more value out of that. Doran sidestepping the Death Grasp, trying to just make sure that he doesn't take too much damage here as FlyQuest tries to get something on him, but it's quickly becoming more and more difficult, Kobe, for FlyQuest to find angles or opportunities.
Yep, I would say he accomplished that goal, Flowers. He took almost 0 damage. They barely got through the Canic Rooker shield by the time that he walked away. Here we go, though.
Quad gonna be your target. Faker rides the Weaver's wall, trying to put the pressure onto the enemy mid laner, while Oner distracts everybody else on FlyQuest here at the same time. Remember, no GA anymore, and Whippo's got him trapped in the Death Realm. Shut down for the Mordekaiser, and FlyQuest are looking for a little bit more. The chase is continuing, but they can't quite find any angle here. The Realm Warp is available, but there's not quite the range. Now Keria the target here from Whippo. Tempered Fate hits nobody. Whippo in the middle of everything. He dies before he can find the shield as T1 trade 1 back. Now another seismic shove, not gonna hit Inspired with that one. Masu looking for an opportunity to fire off here with a Kaisa, but he cannot get close. It's so dangerous up against Faker's Talia.
That was great from Keria, just using his own body to create that play. He knows Mordekaiser ult just was used to kill off Oner, and so he goes in and he actually makes it a 1 for 1, allowing T1 to answer. But now, the Dragon.
Okay. Dragon started by FlyQuest, but immediately responded by T1. Another seismic shove, this time onto Busio. Pop Blossom with no value. Chemtech Drake over to Gumayusi. Doran trying to get away. Busio at 100 HP. Gumayusi still looking to step forward. Nice shove there onto Quad, but they aren't going to kill him here just yet. Seraph's Embrace shield keeps him alive. Realm Warp for the defense. Masu's going to try to get away with that as Inspired uses EQ to get over the wall. Now a teleport coming in from T1. It's Doran looking to cut him off at their own tier 3 turret here in the bottom lane. The Weaver's Wall delays Quad and Masu, and now Doran stands between them and safety. Whippo's trying to help out his team as Quad looks to turn it around. They found a route into Faker. Faker, and Quad takes him out. FlyQuest continued trying to get away, but Oner has arrived. His clone, Cyclone, kills Inspired, and Quad barely gets away over the wall. Oner's still looking, his Whippo has to flash. Masu continues to run on the third, and Tofo strike doesn't hit, but T1 still has the push.
T1 chasing them across the map, and now they're inside the base, Flowers, finally. 24 kills to T1, and they will be able to take the inhibitor.
Inhibitor number 1 is down, and T1 is not done. Mid lane tier 2 turret, the next target here, as Doran's just gonna step forward, start putting the autos into that one. The rest of the team is right behind him. They'll shove up this wave. The extra power, those void grubs that we talked about earlier, allowing them to just bulldoze these structures. And again, Whippo in some danger. Does have the stasis to keep himself alive this time, so not another kill for T1 here just yet. Tier 2 turret remains alive as well. Gumayusi taking a decent little chunk of damage there from the Blade Caller. But again, man, every single time it looks like FlyQuest might be getting something. T1 gets something back. Let's take another look at how everything happened.
How Guma is able to lay down some feathers and take the dragon. So Faker spaces Lucio really nicely, by the way. Inspired tries to slip back in, but Guma stole yesterday dragon with Yunara. He steals one with Zaya this time. And obviously he's done it with Varus, but anyways, back to the actual fight there. They started out with really nice spacing on Bucio on the, well, let's take a look at this one as well. Keria able to find him on the backside. We didn't get that one, but that's a nice little support versus support action there. I guess punishment for letting me have the Bard. And then that was a really fun call out where you talked about the super blast cone actually hitting Inspire into the clone that was already spinning to finish off.
Yeah, that was wild.
Just needed a tiny bit of extra damage, and it was like this ping pong ball that goes right.
Some Beyblade action. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but that was cool. It is a 6,000 gold lead still for the side of T1. Gumayusi securing that last Drake with his Blade Caller also means that they are on Soul Point. 2 minutes from now, they'll be able to fight for the Soul, and FlyQuest are going to feel compelled to try to defend it. But before that, just 15 seconds until the next Baron spawns, and it's T1 with immediate control over the area. FlyQuest want to step forward here, but Doran's doing a great job being the space creator, being the one who prevents anybody else on FlyQuest from stepping forward towards Gumayusi, towards Faker, towards anybody, and FlyQuest really have to pick their moments carefully on how they want to step up. Bucio clone walks past the control ward, no seismic shove to find any value here just yet, but the Baron is spawned, and T1 is ready to start it up. Doran and Keria are going to be running interference, and Oner and Gumayusi just melt this thing. Weaver's Wall won't allow FlyQuest anywhere near it, and T1 has already claimed the objective. Now Whippo's got to try to stay alive. Pop Blossom finds Faker. Gumayusi's already killed Bucio. Masu flew into the back line, but he crash landed, and T1 tears them apart. FlyQuest thought they could take that fight. They thought they had to, but T1 would not let it happen. It's a clean ace, and they're on the game-winning push.
Yep, Keria takes care of one tower for his second, and the rest of T1 arrived to finish the job.
FlyQuest had a tall task, and they could not stand up to the moment. T1 prove why that number 4 seed title isn't what it seems, and they'll